Capitalism begins with giving, not grasping. That when I was reading this book and I got to the last chapter, I was reading it and I don't know where I was in the chapter, but I teared up. The chapter is called The Power of Giving.
Yeah.
And I'm so used to capitalists, free market advocates, saying, yeah, it might seem cold, but it works. It benefits everybody in the long run, so why don't you just get a job?
Yeah.
All right. And the socialist comes across like a giving, maternal, we want you to thrive, and here, let us give you some candy. And the conservatives sort of have reacted in a way that seems to step into Marx's caricature. And one of the things you do in this last chapter, in talking about the power of giving, is, well, you say the chapter begins with, capitalism begins with giving, not grasping. Capitalism begins with giving. Free markets and exchanges are characteristics of capitalism, but they are the result of entrepreneurship, not a cause of it. It is not the exchange that elicits the goods and generates the increase in their value. It is the initial gift that evokes the desire to reciprocate and which thus induces exchange. So exchange is driven by love.
And I like to think of the entrepreneur, this caricature that we see that really originates with Marx, as the entrepreneur is somehow beginning by taking.
Right.
But when you actually see what an entrepreneur has to do, the first thing he has to do is save.
Right.
Which is foregoing consumption. It's the opposite of the expression of greed or taking. It's foregoing consumption in order to accumulate resources that he then gives up in order to start his company.
Gives up in a risk move.
Yeah, he has to commit it, and the success or failure of this commitment of his resources, his investment, if you want, is his imaginative understanding of the needs and wants of others. Mm-hmm. He has to have a vision of the needs and wants of other people.
How can I serve?
How can I serve others? That's really the key question that faces the entrepreneur. And then in order to serve others, he also has to collaborate with others in his company, unless it's a single person business, which is unusual. Yeah. It's not the modal entrepreneurial venture. Everything depends on his serving others, collaborating with others, responding to the needs of others, and his success or failure is dependent on the voluntary responses of others. Mm-hmm. And so I see it as a process of giving. He's constantly giving of himself in an act of faith. Right. It's his faith in the future, ultimately epitomized in most of us in his faith in God, that ultimately enables his success.